We are living in a world where it's all boom, 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 let's move, let's move. And when we have to slow down, it's just really scary because as soon as you slow down, you actually start feeling your feelings. And as
Yeah.
soon as you slow down, you actually have to face things. And we don't want to. It's our biological nature to want to escape pain.
hmm
And that is no different for emotional pain or emotional discomfort. And because we've been ignoring all that emotional pain, all that emotional discomfort, our tolerance for it is very, very low.
Yeah.
So people have become much more rigid. It's either black or white. They forgot the rainbow in between and the emotional flexibility. Hello, welcome to Eat, Cringe, Heal, where nourishment meets self-discovery and laughter is part of the healing process.
I'm Saba, a certified nutrition consultant and holistic chef, passionate about transforming lives through food because healing starts from the inside out.
And I'm Wada, the creator of the Cringe Method, here to shake up your personal growth journey with a mix of deep insights, uncomfortable truths, and a whole lot of cringe.
Together, we dive into the messy, magical intersection of food, vulnerability, and self-evolution. Whether you're here for the recipes, the real talk, or those, oh my God, same moments, pull up a seat. We're serving up nourishment for your body, mind, and soul.
So let's begin. Hey, and welcome to the segment where we actually talk about eat, then we cringe, then we bring it all together with a healing solution. Me and Saba. Hi, Saba.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Doing all right.
So today in our eat section, we are going to be talking about the preparation of food and how that affects us. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the eat segment of our podcast. So one of the things that I feel like is super important with part of the healing process of obviously nutrition and food is the actual action of preparing food, like the cathartic feeling that we get from preparing foods. And in a way, it's kind of like a meditation as well. If you really are, because if we do try and be as present as we can be, obviously, like when you have kids tugging at your legs and distractions all around, I do still find it a moment of the day where I'm able to just kind of be as present as possible. So from like chopping to the release of the aromas from the foods, like the different oils that are released from herbs, for example, even the simple act of like cutting a lemon and the oils of the lemon skin kind of being released. I always like to rub my hands together afterwards and take a deep breath in, and lemon, like the terpenes that are in lemon are very invigorating and like uplifting. So those kinds of little moments that we can take from the act of cooking and the act of being present
Preparing.
in the kitchen are definitely, very, very healing.
I feel like we, because of the fast-paced life we've all been living, especially city people, um, like, hello, city people, we're
Yeah.
talking to you now. Everything is like order, order, order. And I think we've lost this very important part of preparing food. For me personally, preparing food is something where I feel like it brings me connection with my family,
Mhm.
especially when we're all around doing all these different things. Um, and it's one of the biggest things that me and my husband connect with. So I'd be chopping something, he'd be chopping something different, or I'd be sitting there with the baby and telling him, okay, chop this, and then he'll take the baby, and then I'll be adding the spices, and it's all this like family dynamic. And then our 10-year-old will pretend that she cooked the whole thing, but then she'll be like, I want to cook, I want to cook, and then she'll just sit there and then decide she needs to go away for a bit and come back when it's ready and tell us that she prepared this meal.
Yeah.
But
Or even like asking, like I've started asking Naima now to like grab her plate and her spoon and fork, and We like to do picnics. We call them picnics. We basically just sit on the floor and we eat in her play area. So she'll like she's started to like go and prepare in her way, like putting stuff out,
Yeah.
or even in the mornings when she wakes up, she's now obsessed with cracking eggs, like boiled eggs. So like
What?
taking the skin off a boiled egg. So every morning she's like, let's make eggs. But it's really beautiful that like that act of, sharing those moments where we are all kind of present, and the synergy and connection that we find within those spaces.
I think we forget that this is a huge part of the eat and the nutrition
Hmm.
is about preparing the
Yeah,
food
yeah.
because it's really important even for our digestive system.
It starts there, basically the smells. It starts basically, yeah, you start to feel the digestive juices start kind of preparing while you're cooking. So here, unfortunately, in Dubai, a lot of people are, because it's a big fast-paced city and nobody
Yeah.
finds time to cook. What is huge here are meal plan services. So basically, you get a meal delivered to your, or three meals delivered to your door every morning, and you don't cook anything. I guess it's like, I have friends who are single and it works great for them, and they want to get X amount of calories and they're really into like, looking great and exercising, whatever.
But there's that missing element of that preparation.
Yeah, and it's part of being human as well. It's how we survived as a human race, is like by eating cooked foods and by preparing food together, and the hunter gatherers, or it's part of who we are and how we survive. But sadly now it's kind of diminishing.
I think it's diminishing due to this whole industrial complex that we all have to be producing, producing, producing all the time. And this is so crazy that even our belief system is now connected to if I sit and if I'm present, even if I'm preparing food for myself and my family, it's a waste of my time because I'm not producing for
Yeah,
the big corporation that
yeah,
is the world. And that is, I think, one of the things because I always wonder because I know that when we're cooking, the digestive system begins. So I always wonder, oh my God, if I'm just sitting and if I'm getting a delivery and
yeah,
I'm just like, and my digestive system skips this bit,
yeah,
what is happening inside my body if I'm just feeding it without it being
yeah.
prepared? So I'm skipping a
Well,
huge a
yeah,
step.
so I feel like the reason why there's so many people with digestive issues like IBS, and people have trouble sleeping and all these different things, or mental health illnesses, I believe that is like a stem of it. It's one of the components of it. Because yeah, IBS is like a lack of being able to digest, and I mean, it's either like, it's very explosive, or there's a problem in the digestive process. And yeah, you're right. I feel like that is a huge step in it. Obviously, as well, like eating processed foods and all that stuff, or if you're getting deliveries, it's
You don't
usually,
know what
even if
it's
it's the
cooking.
healthiest food, yeah, I mean, they're going to be using like seed oils. So having that regularly is obviously not great for your body. It causes inflammation in the gut and the rest of your body as well. But yeah, also just leaving food to sit for a while and then having it later has been linked to stuff like histamine intolerances as well. So if you're having like reactions with your skin or with your gut with histamine, um, it can be like an allergic reaction, but you're not actually allergic to the food. So yeah, food that's like leftovers or that kind of stuff is usually a reaction to your
Yeah,
system.
because a restaurant to be able to operate, they're gonna have to prepare it the night before. And I think we don't think about all these things. I'm not saying we should stop going to restaurants. They're a beautiful thing, but I mean, they cannot be the main source of our nutrition.
And
And
we
I
miss
think,
like, yeah, we miss like a huge component of a very easy way of being able to look after ourselves and care for ourselves. I remember when I was working on my hormonal health in the beginning, I read this book by an Ayurvedic doctor called Maya Tiwari. She's a woman health practitioner.
She's
She's amazing.
amazing.
You've read her work as well, right? Yeah, she
Yeah.
talks about, she basically got, I think she had cervical cancer at like a very young age, like in her 20s.
Yeah.
Um, and one way of healing it was going back to her roots. She's Indian originally from Guyana. And she started like practicing Ayurvedic cooking techniques where she doesn't even use a blender, like everything I remember her talking about grinding spices, like kind of breaking them down with a pestle and mortar, and just like the act and the rhythm and the smells that were released and how healing that was for her. And it really
Yeah.
is. And I always think about that and just try and bring myself back into the present moment when I am in the kitchen as much as possible. Obviously, when you have a
As
little
much as
toddler
possible.
around is different, but
Yeah, but also I think like being present with them while you are preparing is something that we just completely let go of.
yeah,
But you know what a funny thought
yeah,
I had about this as well, especially with this whole AI thing happening now,
yeah,
that it's taking over a lot of technical jobs. And I'm thinking the only jobs that will survive are the ones that are manual. The
yeah,
only things that, which is like, also the irony is it's taking us back to all these like origin things, and I think that's really important. One thing I wanted to comment about when you were talking about, I believe that a lot of like mental health problems are in the gut. So my husband has this functional mushroom brand called Mycogenius, and he's been deeply in research about how to get like the best mushrooms, how the best extracts, what is it? And one of the biggest research that is coming up about why lion's mane has this effect on people where it's helping with their memories and everything, it's because it's feeding a certain type of bacteria in the gut. I
mm,
think we don't have this education that the gut is actually all the parasites and the bacteria and whatever is in our gut
yeah,
is who we are.
yeah, definitely. They say it's your second brain, but I actually believe it's your first brain. Yeah, there's so much that goes on between the gut brain axis in many ways, but yeah, obviously, like emotions, mental health it is definitely linked. Like it's been proven, but sadly, we're still just only learning about it.
And sadly, nobody talks about it. It's like a
Yeah.
big secret.
I just feel like it's because it's quite new research that not that many people really know that much about it.
And I
Um,
think people just underestimate how much what we do in our day to day, like preparing food, smelling food, and then also what you're eating,
yeah,
is contributing to your overall health.
yeah,
I think we focus on the diseases, but we don't and the physical medical cure of them, and we forget the other aspects of
yeah,
it too.
yeah,
And I think, focusing on one thing and one thing only is never a solution to everything, to any problem.
yeah,
Usually a problem needs to be looked at from, I think, a wider perspective.
yeah. I totally agree with you.
Because I know now that after I started eating more food at home, has been the thing I've been doing more and more every year, but since 2021 probably, and and just organic, my whole demeanor completely changed,
Mhm.
especially when preparing food. I eat much better when I prepare food.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many great restaurants in Dubai, but whenever we eat out, Tarek and I are just like, oh, feels so terrible. And even if it's like a super nice restaurant, we're just like, I mean, it's nice. I love going out as a nice experience, but like we hardly ever feel great after eating out.
I don't know if it's because now I know what it feels like to feel good,
Yeah.
that maybe I didn't know before, so therefore I didn't realize that this was happening to my body.
Yeah. Well, the body is just always trying to keep you feeling good. That's like the body's job is to make you feel as good as possible. So it's very resilient, actually. And no matter what we put in it. That's why, you have people who are like eat crap all the time and they're just fine, but like their body eventually does give in. But yeah, our bodies are trying to make us feel good all the time. So when we start to feel bad, that means that some stuff is really wrong.
Yes. And I think I always go back to this time where it's really hard to imagine how I was able to live, produce, do all these different things and be happy
Mm.
when my body was full of inflammation
Hmm.
because of all the orders, because I used to be completely dependent on orders because I didn't want to make the time to prepare my food.
Yeah,
I just wanted to just go, be out there, run, be have everything fast.
yeah,
And then but when I step back and I notice, oh my God, I feel better. I don't feel this ache. I don't feel this bloat that I feel after restaurants or after ordering. I started like preferring, home, but also helps that I love my own cooking and my family does too. So it's just,
yeah. And also, you live in the middle of the countryside, whereas it's a lot more difficult to order food.
which is so great because that's literally what helped me stop
Yeah,
because I had no options. I had to
yeah.
just,
I mean, we have so many options here, but it's very rare. We used to order a lot more before when I was, funnily enough, when I was chefing, because
yeah,
I'd be
because
so
you didn't have
tired.
too much.
But yeah, now, yeah, it's very, very rare. Maybe once a month, if that.
So I wonder if any of the listeners connect to this preparing food and the preparation element of different things. If they notice, or if you notice, our listeners, what you feel if you prepare food. What is it, your connection with food when you prepare it and when you don't? And how does that make you feel?
Let us know.
Let us know. We always want to hear what you guys are feeling and thinking. And yeah,
Well, maybe we can, yeah, I was just thinking maybe we can move into the cringe by, I mean, it's obviously not everybody loves cooking. Not everybody feels comfortable in the kitchen. Even myself in the beginning when I first started properly cooking for myself, like at university, I used to be so neurotic and I didn't let anybody in the kitchen with me. And I would like be so angry if anyone was near me. I just felt like I needed to be in my space and like make sure everything was perfect and kind of, yeah, obviously now it's different, but like it's, yeah,
and I think also with the Instagram subs, like now everybody is like looking at Instagram and looking at TikTok and like all these like perfectly cooked meals everywhere. And you're like, oh my God, my plates don't look like this.
yeah,
But you didn't have that then and you were anxious.
yeah. No, I was just like, because I didn't feel comfortable. I just wanted, yeah, I don't know. It's really strange. Did you ever feel like that? Like with,
With cooking? No, I wasn't that a perfection. I just didn't know how to cook.
yeah,
But I told myself I knew how to cook.
yeah,
I told myself that I was a great chef when really I didn't know how to cook. And I started with all these like weird recipes. And I remember trying to cook for people and they'd be like, yeah, it's good. And I knew it wasn't. Um, but then eventually it just picked up and food became something that I connected to. And I think me and you connected mainly on cooking together.
yeah,
That was our connection point.
yeah,
And I think that relationship really also helped me with also connecting with food more and oh yeah, I can do it. Oh yeah, I can make
yeah.
something taste good.
Yeah, it's a mindset as well. Like I remember telling my friend being like, "Oh, it's super easy. You just have to do this." And she's like, "That's not easy." Like because she wasn't used to cooking so much. But I was like, if you think it's easy, it does help change your mindset.
Yeah, but I think coming to your workshops as well
Mhm.
really helped me because I remember that salad workshop. I remember those jars, and then we'd put them, and we're like, "Oh, this is brilliant! This is so good, and it tastes really yummy." And I, and then another thing was I did a cooking class in Sri Lanka, and that really launched me. I think if you are intimidated by cooking, I
Yeah.
think take a class.
Yeah, take a class, exactly. Go with your partner or with a friend or it's fun. Yeah. I mean, that's what do you feel like the cringe would be for that kind of mindset?
I think it's about slowing down.
Yeah.
I think we are living in a world where it's all boom, 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 let's move. And when we have to slow down, it's just really scary because as soon as you slow down, you actually start feeling your feelings. And as
Yeah.
soon as you slow down, you actually have to face things. And we don't want to. We It's our biological nature to want to escape pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that is no different for emotional pain or emotional discomfort. And
Yeah.
because we've been ignoring all that emotional pain, all that emotional discomfort, our tolerance for it is very, very low.
Yeah.
So people have become much more rigid. It's either black or white. They forgot the rainbow in between and the emotional flexibility. And I think if you have anxiety about being perfect, about slowing down and doing something, you need to look for the rainbow in between and notice if you needed to work on your emotional flexibility.
Yeah.
Because also being rigid is a big, big, big sign of trauma, unhealed trauma. We all have trauma, even falling from a little bicycle as kids, okay? But if it's unhealed, if it's un if it's not released, if it's not acknowledged, if it's not understood, it drives the cars of our life. And when that happens, we start bumping into a lot of different things and a lot of different situations that are uncomfortable, that feel really bad, that don't feel as good as we want them to feel because we don't have the emotional flexibility or we didn't and we because we didn't face our cringe.
Mm.
And the cringe, as I like to repeat, and I like to keep telling everybody, the cringe is these feelings that you don't want to face, the ones that make you just feel this resistance in your body no matter what it looks like. Sometimes it's even an eye roll and a brush off. If you start rolling your eyes on some about something, take a step back and be like, why am I rolling my eyes? Why is this bringing me anxiety? Why is this making me angry? Why
Mm.
is this making me resentful? It's a really good way to face your cringe. It's really, really uncomfortable to face it, but once you do, you're able to face yourself and you have this ability to emotionally handle your own emotions. Can you imagine how powerful that could be?
Yeah.
Um, and once you're able to do that, you'll be in charge of your own life. You'll be driving your own car.
No, I mean, I mean, from when you were saying that, it reminded me of when I was, after I got divorced in my first marriage. I just didn't want to even acknowledge like the feelings of it. I was like, everything's fine, like it's fine, you know. And I just I was working just like full on, like started at 6 a.m., ended at like 7 p.m., and was just like working, going. And
Survival
eventually,
mode.
after like 2 months, I was like, it all kind of like compounded. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need to face this.
Face the cringe.
Yeah, I need to face it. Face that. I didn't have that tagline before, but I'm sure we had lots of conversations in between as well. And yeah, so I was like, hey, quit my job, went and gave myself like a few months to just travel and really like actually try and heal myself and feel those feelings and forgive myself, forgive him. You know, like I went and like started to work on myself and let release a lot of the feelings that I was running away from, that I was hiding from. So yeah, that really made me think about that.
And I think if we're talking also about relationship pain that we don't like to face, there is a big element that I want people to hear. There is a big aspect of this cringe when a relationship falls apart that has to do with being disappointed with ourselves because our expectations and our dreams for this relationship was not met. So if you're listening and this is something you're going through, look into that.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, there's so many layers. That's what I found. I was like, there's so many layers of like healing. It's
Yes. Yeah.
it's not
A
just
lot
like,
of my clients will come and be like, "Oh my god, I thought I worked on this." I'm like, no, it's an onion. You just keep
Yes.
peeling it.
Yeah. So the heal element, I guess, this can bring us into that, is yeah, I feel like there's always layers, as you were saying, and there's always more kind of work to be done in a way in Buddhism, where they talk about, or is it Hinduism, samskara, where you just kind of like keep going back in circles. Like you go on a journey and you kind of heal it, you go through the like depths, and then you come back to the beginning, and then you like have another cycle around.
Born and you die. It's not like your physical death, it's more metaphoric.
Yeah. How do you feel about the healing stuff? Because I know there's this one person that is here in the UAE at the moment, and she talks about how you can just heal yourself once and you don't need to keep whatever.
Oh my God, you just opened the can of worms.
Like it's not a journey. It's just you can do it, and I believe you have the power to heal yourself. I feel like a lot of the power of healing, it lies within us. We just have to like kind of be able to learn how to access that. But I feel like there's always so much to do, so much work.
Okay, so this is like a very black and white statement, yeah? Where we're at right now. Okay? So when people talk about complete healing, they're talking about like the white, yeah? And we don't live in the white or black, we live in the rainbow in between. Okay? Firstly, you need to define, what does healing mean?
Mhm.
Does it mean that you're never going to ever be triggered or be angry or be upset or be in pain at all? And if that's your definition, then you need to change it, because that's a lie. Because here, we are here in a human experience,
Yeah,
having an experience of duality. We're here to experience all of it. If
yeah,
you were supposed to like not feel any of it, you should be back with the angels, in that plane where there's no duality. So if you think that healing means that you're never going to feel pain, no. Healing, in my perspective, means integrating your trauma, understanding it, and not having your trauma and the place of pain dictate where you go in your life.
mhm.
It cannot be the thing that drives your car. So you're not making decisions out of fear because of this trauma response you have.
Yeah,
You will have triggers, but as you work on yourself, your triggers become more manageable. You're not in a tornado state
yeah. You're
when
more
you're triggered,
yeah,
and you're more able to look at them and be like, oh, hi, you again. I see you.
yeah. What are you doing here, my friend? We silly meet again.
Oh, shit. You just came. Dang it.
Yeah,
Fine. I'll
yeah,
bring you here. I'll see what you need and I'll
yeah.
take care of you, but I'm not going to let you drive the car.
Yeah, I remember I had a friend who like named some of her demons. Not demons,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like her like triggers, she had
Oh,
names
yeah.
for them.
Oh my God. I should name mine. I have them there. I
Yeah,
know. I know
yeah,
them. I know the injustice walla that
yeah,
just goes and tries to make everybody feel better. Yeah. So these are all these different voices in us, and these different triggers that we have, that that make us who we are.
yeah,
Tell us about our upbringing. Tell
yeah,
other people about where we came from too. If
yeah,
someone is observant, they'll hear it in your voice.
yeah,
um, and it's not something we need to fight and dig a hole for and get rid of. It's like a baby that we need to soothe and hold. But we never. Do you ever let a baby drive a car?
no. I've seen people here though with their babies in the driver's seat quite often.
Girl, you're killing my metaphor. But I'm talking about like,
I think
so
I
these.
was one of those babies. Actually, my mom tells me, she's like, I never used the car seat. I'm just like,
Yeah, but that time car seats was not a thing. Okay. We can't blame our parents for the mistakes that were
yeah,
okay in the past. Okay. Like doctors used to smoke and tell people, hey, this is the best thing for you. So
yeah,
let's not.
yeah. Okay.
So this is kind of like how this is how I see healing. So there's this other element that you also mentioned, that there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah,
Yes, but it changes.
yeah,
It's not always devastating. And it's
yeah.
not, but we can also have this attitude of also like, I need to keep working. I need to keep
Yeah,
working.
yeah,
No,
yeah. I know. Yeah, yes, I understand.
because I
Yeah.
think we've all fell into that at some point. I did.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, I have friends that are just still in that phase, like, just keep going. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I feel like there's always like the cycle that I mentioned is like that there will always be another moment where it kind of creeps up on you and it's like, hey, you want to go on
There's an
another
upgrade.
let's
This
go
is how
for
I look
another
at them.
ride. And you're like, okay. But hopefully this ride will be like a lot shorter.
Yeah, but also if you look at it, it's like, oh, this is an upgrade. So if we're like, talking about this onion, you're
Yes.
peeling it and you're getting more deeper into it.
And it gets smaller, actually.
Exactly. And also you get, and also it's just, it's an upgrade. Every
Yeah.
time, the most important thing is you integrate the healing that you do. So you go through this phase and then you understand things about yourself and then you integrate it. This is what a lot of people don't do.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm like, integration in my programs is a huge thing. I'll be like, go integrate what I taught you and then come back. Don't come and keep going.
Yeah.
So integration, and then we come back and then something comes up. I was like, oh, there's an upgrade. This is an upgrade to the leveling up. It's like Mario, we used to play and you get to the mushroom and then boom. Yeah. So I think this is great for the heal part of our podcast, but this was a great conversation as usual, Sebs.
Yes.
And I hope our listeners enjoyed.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, this is kind of how we hope to bring things together with this kind of framework. And sometimes it won't be like that, but we enjoy kind of this cohesion and like bringing it all together in this way, I think.
Yes. And see you in the next episode. But remember, make sure to subscribe and leave us comments and tell us what you think or what you want as in the next topic. See you on the other side. Thank you for listening to this episode today. If you enjoyed this episode, please click like, subscribe to support us.
You can also find us on Instagram at eat.cringe.heal, also on YouTube and anywhere where you can listen to podcasts.
See you on the next episode.